It's time for the Las Vegas Sportsline.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
We're heading to the weekend. It's the final weekend of the regular season in college basketball. The tournaments are underway. March Madness is here. Teddy Covers is here, too. I'm Dave Cokin. R.A. Platinum is doing the production today. We get Kelly Stewart, Kelly in Vegas later on, and Jason Brinks. An absolutely as sharp as it gets college basketball analyst will be with us as we bring you the Friday edition of the Las Vegas Sportsline. Big news in college basketball today, and kind of knew something might be coming here when the USA Today report came out yesterday regarding Will Wade getting caught on a wiretap, talking to someone he shouldn't have been talking to about a recruit and a deal, and he has now been suspended by LSU for the rest of the season. That's bigger than a player being suspended. LSU is a well-coached team. Will Wade is one of the rising superstars in college basketball, or at least was. And, boy, this is a big story, Teddy.
Sure, this is the number 10 team in the country. You know, I mean, this has been a really good year for SEC basketball. And a team like LSU is poised to make some noise in March. So, it'd be interesting to see how they respond. Now, a lot of times you say, all right, the coach is gone, the coach is suspended, there's turmoil, there's media attention they don't want or need. Most of the time, that's a negative situation for bettors. However, sometimes veteran team, it's us against the world mentality, and you can have a different response. So it'd be interesting to see how much the markets devalue LSU off because this is not a short. I mean, the Will Wade. I don't think they think he can come back. I don't think he comes back.
I don't know. I'm not going to say.
It looks bad. It sounds bad.
I'm not going to say anything because the whole world jumped the gun on Archie.
Yes.
On not Archie Miller, the brother, the older brother at Arizona, Sean Miller.
Yeah,
I forgot his name for a second. The whole world jumped the gun. Oh, that's it. He's gone, and then he wasn't. So I'm going to wait and see what happens. But, I mean, I wouldn't bet on Will Wade still being the LSU coach. Let's put it that way.
And LSU is not a program that can say anything, but we are shocked that there's
Casablanca.
Exactly. That there's
you didn't do a Claude Rains voice, though.
I don't have it in me, but
no, neither do I.
This is not a school that has historically been perfectly clean. We'll just put it that way.
No, and as weird as it sounds, it's kind of like the football program is probably sitting there and going, we don't need these eyes on us. Just get rid of this guy.
Well, everybody thinks that.
The football program is going to tell them what to do.
I mean, there's not a program in the country that can withstand NCAA investigation, that can withstand, this serious level of scrutiny without there being some violation.
And this is a bad one. Because this guy's a convicted felon already.
Sure, and he's on tape talking about everybody getting deals, and this is the deal we're giving him, and that's the deal we're giving him, and that's, it doesn't pass the eye test very well.
No, sure doesn't. This sucks. Bad news. I mean, this just sucks. I know he's 74, so it's not like it's the rarest thing in the world, but the news on Tom Seaver is just so, it's just so disheartening. He will no longer be making any public appearances. He's been diagnosed with dementia. He's going to just spend his time at home. And that includes the 50th anniversary of the 69 World Series Mets celebration, which is going to be big. It's really going to be a big deal. And it just sucks. I mean, he's 74. It shouldn't be happening that soon. And it's really sad news.
Yeah, that's my boyhood idol. I mean, legitimately. I loved playing sports growing up, and I was bad at everything. The only thing I was ever good at was pitching. And I wasn't that good, but as a kid, I could get other kids out. And as Tom Seaver was, as a Mets fan growing up in New York, I could tell you June 15th, 1977. To this day, I feel like that's the day my childhood ended. When I woke up that morning and M. Donald Grant had traded away Seaver and King Kong. Dave Kingman, who were my two favorite players that day. And those weren't the days where you had rumors and you knew it was coming. I didn't know it was coming. It was like I woke up and someone just dumped a bucket of water over me. But Seaver, he was so good to watch and so consistent for so long. It is sad news.
One of the all-time greats, no question about that. We don't know where Antonio Brown's going. So much for the Buffalo Bills reports which surfaced. And this is why stuff has to get verified, because there it was. He's going to the Bills. No, he's not. Okay, and in fact, the Bills are now out of the mix completely from what we hear. I don't know where Antonio Brown's going to land. For Bills fans, it's another kick in the gut because they had to be really excited when that news broke.
If you're a Bills fan, the last thing you want them to do is trade picks for Antonio Brown and then pay Antonio Brown big money.
Well, but he's an awfully good receiver, and I mean, he's a superstar. He can still be a game changer for a couple of years.
He can be a game changer on a team that's competing for titles.
Right.
If you're in a building process like Buffalo, or the other teams I'm hearing, Oakland, like how dumb can the Raiders possibly be?
Oh, the Raiders can be pretty dumb.
I know. And then that's what I'm saying. It's all the bad organizations. The Redskins are rumored, like that organization's been as bad as any in the NFL. It's like, no, Antonio Brown, if you have a chance to win a title this year, maybe you make that case. But do you see the Patriots chasing him?
Well, okay, I was just going to say this. You know what could happen is no deal gets done, and they're just sitting there waiting in the weeds and swoop in at the last second and say, hey, hi, Randy Moss the second. Come on over for a couple of years.
Exactly. We'll give you a third rounder for him. New England's done.
They've done it before.
But the Steelers wouldn't let him get him. There's no way.
I suppose. But, they're always the team that's the last thing you hear. Oh, who? You with who saw Gordon ending up there? I know he got in trouble again, but still, a guy could still play. And
that offense was noticeably better with him on the field.
Yep.
So then again, they won a Super Bowl without him.
Never rule the Patriots out of anything.
Sure, but this whole Antonio Brown, where's he going to go? And whoever from the Steelers, like, we have to make a deal by Friday. Like that's the best way to get max value.
No, just take your time.
No deadline.
You have no rush. You can wait until August if you have to. I know they want to get something done for this year's draft, I suppose, but if worst comes to worst, you just wait, hold your ground, because somebody will get desperate. If right now they're not dealing from a position of strength right now, so you have to put yourself into a position of strength somehow, and that generally happens when somebody's. To me, they don't have to trade him before this year's draft. Wait and find out which team got disappointed in the draft that might have been looking for a receiver, and that's who you go after at that point.
Yeah, no argument. But again, buyer beware on the mercurial wide receivers.
Time to run down some of today's games. We have a couple of games, one in progress and one done in the Missouri Valley Conference. Earlier, it was Loyola announcing that they are ready for the postseason.
Yeah, we're back.
I think Loyola's been screwing around all year, to tell you the truth. They've had a lack of focus on a regular basis this year.
That was a big first half today.
Yeah, it was. Final score was rather misleading that game. They beat Valpo 67-54. It was never a basketball game. In progress right now, a close one between Bradley and Missouri State. And I just lost the score.
I've got 45-44. Bradley with a 1-point lead, just 7.5 to go.
Okay, well, if they're still ahead by 4 minutes, with 4 minutes to go, and it's close, then you can run to bet Missouri State because they will win the last 4 minutes of the game. I can tell you that.
You're having a rough time in those last 4 minutes, are you?
It's been difficult. VMI and Western Carolina are underway in the SoCon first game, in Western Carolina with the early 9-7 lead. And in the Ivy League, I don't know why they're playing this early, but they are. And Brown is leading early in the second half at Princeton, 35-28. Let's take a look at some of tonight's action as we head to the MJ Christensen Diamonds 4-4.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
Put them fours up. Put the fours up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sportsline's 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
And I was just made aware today that MJ Christensen will be celebrating, and this is really remarkable by Las Vegas standards, their 80th anniversary next month. They've been around for 80 years.
Nobody's been around for 80 years in Vegas.
In Las Vegas? No.
Cokin, maybe. Yeah,
no, I was just going to say they've been around longer than I have, and that's really saying something. And they're in a lot better shape. So we'll tell you about some amazing things that are going to be taking place at MJ Christensen Diamonds for the 80th anniversary throughout the month of April, and we'll tell you about that over the next few weeks. Meanwhile, stop down at the store today and check out all the available merchandise, some great deals, some just top quality products. You'll love it at MJ Christensen. We will open things up with. Oh, I meant to get to the Phillies. I left that out. Well, we'll get our Major League Baseball preview in on the Phillies at some point in today's show. Let's go to the games. 76ers and Rockets tonight, NBA. Look, I know it's the regular season still, and everybody's getting ready for the playoffs. But the 76ers, they're in a fight right now to try and get one of those 4 top seeds in the East. And I don't know if they're going to get it or not. And I do think that could be a very important deal in the first round.
I don't think it matters one bit.
What if it's them in Boston? I think home court matters in a Philadelphia-Boston series if it happens.
But, I mean, the whole thing is that Indiana, who's sitting there, 1 win ahead of the Sixers now and 2 wins ahead of the Celtics, Indiana's not that good. And if Indiana's in the first round against any of these teams, they'll beat them. And
I don't keep hanging in there.
Sure, but they're it's not a long-term issue. There's still, 15, 20 games to go in this NBA season. The Pacers will fall. And we've seen that already.
You're right, yeah.
I mean, the question is, what are the Sixers going to be capable of doing without Embiid, And it's kind of they're 4-3 straight up without him. 3-4 against the spread. They haven't played particularly well. He's not the only front court injury they have. And the Rockets right now are playing probably
right now they're playing their best ball of the season.
Sure, but then you
which
see
doesn't mean anything because we've seen this before out of the Rockets, and all of a sudden it's like, where the hell did that game come from? And they just they can lose by 20. I don't think that's going to happen. But.
Well, listen to the quote from D'Antoni. It's pretty good right now. Maybe too much.
Ooh.
That's a season high winning streak for Houston, and it's Philly just got embarrassed on ESPN the other night, losing to the the lowly Bulls. So I'm not laying. I'll put it that way.
I wanted to mention this game because it's on TV tonight. That's one thing, and the other is that it's one of those teams that this team could be playing into the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, and I don't even think that's a stretch at this point. VCU is good. They're hosting St. Joe's tonight. The pesky Hawks, who when they're hitting their threes can be a pain in the neck, and when they're not, they get killed. Pretty good sized number in the game. The one thing and Ralph Michaels was the one who alerted me to this. It was a good story in the Richmond newspaper on why VCU is playing so well right now, and part of it is this phenomenal conditioning that they're in. Goes back to preseason, and they were just doing running, and it's showing. I mean, they're crushing teams the second half with fresh legs. That could happen tonight too. It might be a game where you wait around, see what's happening in the first half, and then look for VCU to just annihilate them in the second half because St. Joe's is a thin squad to begin with. VCU is a scary good team right now.
Sure, and I love the concept there that, if it's the type of score at halftime that you're like, I don't know if St. Joe's going to be able to hang. It might be a time for a VCU bet at the break. But, they've been covering numbers like crazy. 9-2 against the spread, their last 11, the Rams. As you mentioned, blowing teams out of the water. But St. Joe's doesn't turn it over.
No.
And, that's why they've dominated this series ATS to the tune of 9-1 the last 10 meetings. Martelli's crafty against that VCU press.
You won't get extra possessions. St. Joe's is not good. I mean, they had no chance to be good with all the injuries they had. But they are a sound fundamental basketball team. That's the one thing you'll always get out of Martelli coach squads.
No, they won't. They normally don't beat themselves.
A rarity. But it's a Friday night with not a lot of college basketball. And these are 2 really big games in the Ohio Valley Conference tonight. They're in their conference tournament. They're one of the first ones to get going. And we have 2 really exciting matchups tonight. They're both on national TV as well on the ESPN family of networks. Austin Peay and Belmont in the first game. And, this is one of those games where Belmont's probably going to win because they know how to finish off games. But this is not likely to be easy. Austin Peay is a very capable squad, and they've hung tough with just about everybody all year.
Yeah, I mean, my general thought process going in to the tournament is I want to be taking points, not laying them. For as good as the elite teams are here, and obviously Belmont's really good, there's depth in this conference. There has been all season, and that there's going to be a premium and a price tag on a team like Belmont that's been really good and really good ATS. Austin Peay gave him a battle when these 2 teams met in January. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him another one.
And Jacksonville State, they're the weird team in the conference because Jacksonville State has played their best games against the best teams. They've actually played down to the level of competition on a frequent basis. They did it again yesterday. I mean, it took forever to put down Tennessee Martin. They were trailing at the half in the game, and and it was tied late, and then they got him by 7.